Well, I unfortunately had my dog stuffed when
Why?
I was 8 years old, and the poor thing died.
They made us laugh for 11 seasons as army doctors in Korea. Then came the crash. One star went bankrupt and lost everything. Another needed a bodyguard after death threats. A beloved actor suffered from Parkinson's, but kept it secret for years. Their characters saved lives on TV, but what happened after the cameras stopped rolling is the real story no one told you. Alda. Alda became a legend by playing Hawkeye Pierce on MASH, the clever, kind-hearted surgeon who made people laugh and cry for over a decade. From 1972 to 1983, Alda appeared in all 256 episodes. He wasn't just acting, he was helping to shape the show from the inside. He worked as a producer, a writer, and even directed episodes. His talent brought him 11 Emmy nominations, with 2 wins for acting and several more for writing and directing. He also won 6 Golden Globes. The final episode, which Alda co-wrote and directed, was seen by over 100 million people. Even today, no American TV episode has ever matched that number. After MASH, Alda didn't slow down. He directed comedies like Sweet Liberty in 1986 and A New Life in 1988. He also acted in powerful films. In 1989, he appeared in Woody Allen's Crimes and Misdemeanors, winning awards for Best Supporting Actor. He kept pushing his range. On The West Wing, he played Senator Arnold Vinnick and won another Emmy in 2006. Then, in 2004, he starred in The Aviator as Senator Owen Brewster and earned an Oscar nomination. In 2015, Alda was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He told the world in 2018, but instead of hiding, he faced it with humor and strength. He joked about tying shoelaces with stiff fingers, saying it felt like playing violin with mittens. He kept moving, literally, working out regularly to fight the disease. His outlook stayed positive. He believed life was all about adjusting, adapting, and revising. In May 2025, he made a surprise appearance in Netflix's new version of The Four Seasons, a show based on the 1981 film he had once written and directed. He played Don, the father of a woman renewing her vows. Tina Fey wrote the part just for him. It was a touching moment that brought him back into the spotlight and reunited him with Fey, who had cast him years earlier on 30 Rock. But Alda's work didn't stop with film and TV. He turned his attention to science. In 2009, he helped start the Alan Alda Center for Communicating Science at Stony Brook University. By 2020, more than 15,000 scientists had taken part in workshops, teaching them to speak clearly and connect with others. Alda believed science should be shared with everyone, not hidden behind complicated words. He even wrote 3 memoirs. His 2017 book, If I Understood You, Would I Have This Look on My Face?, focused on communication and connection. Now, in 2025, he's almost 90 years old. He still hosts his podcast, Clear Plus Vivid, and enjoys quiet days with his wife, Arlene. They've been married for 68 years. They play chess, they watch Scandinavian dramas, they laugh, and when someone asked him how he wanted to be remembered, Alda said he didn't think about that much. "If I leave something behind that someone finds useful," he said, "that will be nice." Loretta Swit. Loretta Swit was already thinking about life after MASH before the show even ended. She played Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan for 11 seasons, but behind the scenes, she was itching to leave. As early as season 8, she tried to exit the series, but 20th Century Fox wouldn't let her out of her contract. So, she stayed, and it paid off. Sweet earned 9 Emmy nominations for the role and won twice, with her second win coming in 1982. When the show's record-breaking finale aired in 1983, it marked the end of an era and the beginning of a very different chapter in her life. That same year, something unexpected happened on set. While filming an episode called UN, The Night and the Music, she met guest actor Dennis Holohan. He played a Swedish diplomat. Swit later said it was love at first sight. "I was bumping into furniture," she joked in a 1988 interview. A week later, she felt sure she could spend her life with him. They married in 1983, but by 1989, it was over. Their divorce turned bitter. Holohan claimed he deserved $8,000 a month from Swit, saying he made far less money and was entitled to half her income. Unlike many stars who try to jump into a new hit show, Swit wanted something different. She turned down a lead role in the Cagney and Lacey series, even though she had starred in the pilot. Weekly TV no longer appealed to her. "I want to start playing different characters," she told reporters. Instead, she focused on theater and occasional film roles. It wasn't about fame anymore. It was about freedom. While her acting slowed down, another passion took over: animal rights. Swit had become a vegan back in 1981, long before it was popular. Over the years, she became even more active in the cause. In the early 2000s, she created the Swit Heart Animal Alliance. She used her talent as a painter to support it. Her watercolor artwork isn't sold in galleries. It's only available through non-profit animal groups. She even released a fragrance called Sweetheart, with the profits going to her animal welfare work. Swit didn't just walk away from MASH. She walked toward something real. Her post-show life wasn't about chasing roles or headlines. It was about choosing her own story. And just like her character on the show, she stood firm in what she believed. Mike Farrell. Mike Farrell also took a very different path after MASH. He played Captain B.J. Honeycutt, but once the show ended in 1983, he didn't jump into another series. He waited 16 years before returning to regular TV. It wasn't because he couldn't get work. He wanted his next steps to mean something. Around the same time, his marriage to Judy Farrell ended. She had played Nurse Abel on MASH, appearing in 8 episodes. Their personal split came just as his career was changing too. In 1985, Farrell teamed up with producer Marvin Minoff. Together, they launched Farrell/Minoff Productions. Their partnership lasted over 25 years until Minoff passed away in 2009. They made several successful films, including Dominic and Eugene in 1988, which earned Tom Hulce a Golden Globe nomination. Then came Patch Adams in 1998, starring Robin Williams. But the most shocking chapter in Farrell's life wasn't a movie, it was real. Also in 1985, Farrell was in El Salvador during its civil war. There, he was pulled into a life-or-death moment. Guerrilla commander Nidia Diaz was wounded and imprisoned. No doctor would help her. So Farrell, who had only played a surgeon on TV, was asked to assist in an actual surgery. He helped save her life. That moment blurred the line between fiction and reality and proved how far he was willing to go for human rights. Since 1994, Farrell has led Death Penalty Focus, a group fighting to end capital punishment. He's now been president for over 30 years. He admits the work can be heartbreaking. "I've wept many times," he said, but he keeps going, inspired by people on death row and those fighting beside him in the courts, churches, and streets. Farrell is now 86, but he hasn't slowed down. He still acts occasionally. In 2025, he's set to star in an independent film called Final Decision, which explores end-of-life choices. For a man who's spent decades tackling deep emotional issues, it's a fitting role. He also returned to regular TV once, but only when the time felt right. From 1999 to 2002, he starred in Providence as veterinarian Jim Hansen. That was 16 years after MASH. In the years between, he poured his energy into stage performances like JFK, a one-man show, and a national tour of Clarence Darrow. These roles gave him space to explore complex topics far from the spotlight of network television. In a creative twist, Farrell and his second wife, Shelley Fabares, Both voiced Superman's parents in Superman, the animated series. He played Jonathan Kent, and she voiced Martha. They were married on New Year's Eve in 1984. After his divorce from Judy, both families went to therapy together. Farrell said the goal was to build healthy relationships. It wasn't just for the kids, it was about healing. Farrell's values shaped everything he did, on and off screen. His daughter in MASH was named Erin, just like his real daughter. His books, Just Call Me Mike, and Of Mule and Man, gave readers a deeper look into his life. The second book even documented a 9,000-mile road trip he took to promote it. He's also a motorcycle enthusiast who's ridden across North America, Europe, and Australia. Jaime Farre. Jaime Farre became a household name playing Corporal Klinger on MASH, the guy in dresses always trying to get out of the army. But once the cameras stopped rolling, life took a harsh turn. During the last seasons of MASH, Farre was earning around $120,000 per episode. In today's money, that's over $350,000. It looked like a dream life, but by 1989, just 6 years after the show ended, Farre and his wife were filing for bankruptcy. They owed more than $1.5 million and had almost nothing left. The money vanished through bad real estate deals in California, but the real blow came from someone he trusted. Farre's business manager had quietly taken nearly $800,000 over 7 years. The truth only came out when the IRS began an audit and uncovered everything. Suddenly, Farre had to give up his massive 12,000-square-foot home in Bell Canyon. He even had to auction off his personal items, including the original MASH scripts and the huge size 13 heels he wore on set. The pressure became unbearable. In his book, Just Farre Fun, he wrote about the night he almost ended his life. He sat in his garage with the engine running. Then, the phone rang. It was Alan Alda. He wasn't calling for any reason, just a friendly check-in, but that random call stopped everything. Farre said it saved his life. After that low point, Farre didn't give up. He started working again. He toured in dinner theaters and stayed connected to fans. He even started a golf tournament in his hometown, which raised over $14 million for kids' charities. Quietly, he began investing in Middle Eastern art. By 2010, his collection of Lebanese and Syrian art was worth more than $3.2 million. His financial comeback was just as dramatic as his fall. In a 2022 interview, Farre admitted something surprising. He didn't even want to play Klinger at first. He turned the role down 3 times. He worried that the cross-dressing character would insult his Lebanese heritage and ruin his chances at serious acting roles. But eventually, he said yes. It became the role that made his career and shaped his life. He called it both a blessing and a burden. Even now, Farre isn't done giving back. In March 2025, at age 90, he donated $2.5 million to open the Maxwell Q. Klinger Center for Performing Arts at his old high school in Toledo. Decades after MASH, he's still making a difference. Harry Morgan. Harry Morgan also found fame on MASH, but his story after the show was full of surprises too. He played Colonel Potter, the wise and kind leader. But behind the scenes, things got complicated. Just 4 years after the final episode aired, Morgan was arrested for domestic battery in 1987. He had recently remarried after his first wife died in 1985. The charges were later dropped, but the news shocked fans who only knew him as the lovable Colonel. Morgan had a long career before MASH, acting in over 100 movies since the 1940s. But MASH made him a star at 60. He even won an Emmy in 1980. After the show ended in 1983, Morgan joined the spin-off After MASH with Jaime Farre and William Christopher. But without Alan Alda, it didn't work. The show was canceled after 2 short seasons. From a record-breaking finale seen by 105.9 million people to a flop, his career took a hard turn. Other shows didn't help either. Black's Magic and You Can't Take It With You were both canceled quickly. Even his appearance in the 1987 Dragnet movie didn't reignite his career. He did have a fun moment later on, voicing his old character on The Simpsons, but major roles were behind him. Morgan once said he missed playing villains. Before he became known for fatherly roles, he often played darker characters. He told an interviewer in 1976 that people only wanted him to play the real me now, meaning nice guys. But that wasn't always what he wanted. In his later years, he had a small recurring role on Third Rock from the Sun. He played an old professor opposite John Lithgow. And while he stayed out of the spotlight, those who worked with him remembered him as a jokester on set. Harry Morgan passed away in 2011 from pneumonia. He was 96. He had 4 children, 8 grandchildren, and 9 great-grandchildren. His career stretched from the golden age of movies all the way to modern television. David Ogden Styers. David Ogden Styers played the elegant, snobbish, but deeply talented Major Charles Emerson Winchester III on MASH. His accent, his posture, his love for classical music, he made the role unforgettable. When the show ended in 1983, most fans thought that was it. But Styers' real life turned out to be just as surprising as his characters. Away from the cameras, he became a serious orchestral conductor. Not just once or twice. By 2009, he had stood before more than 70 orchestras in over 100 performances around the world. He took that love for music seriously. He even became the resident conductor for the Newport Symphony Orchestra in Oregon. One time in the early 90s, during a movie shoot, he contacted a local orchestra and offered to conduct without pay, just because he loved it that much. Then came 2009. At the age of 66, Styers came out as gay. For decades, he had stayed quiet about it. He feared it would hurt his voice acting work, especially with Disney. He told a blog called Gossip Boy that he didn't want to be a burden for producers or limit his roles. But now, he wanted to live honestly. He said, "I wish to find someone, and I do not desire to force any potential partner to live a life of extreme discretion with me." It was brave and heartbreaking too. All those years, hiding a part of himself to protect his career. But he wasn't all drama and dignity. The man could take a joke. During one Thanksgiving break, the MASH cast painted his dressing room in loud orange and purple just to mess with him. He laughed it off, and on set, he zipped around on a skateboard at 25 miles per hour, annoying security guards and laughing like a kid. His real moment of acceptance came not with awards or praise, but when the cast pelted him with gauze after a long surgical scene. That's when he knew he was truly part of the team. He died on March 3, 2018, in Newport, Oregon. He was 75 and had fought bladder cancer. His will revealed his heart. He left money to the Newport Symphony, the local library, and arts councils. Even after death, he gave back to the same small-town communities he loved. In 2025, 7 years later, people still discover his performances online. His Disney roles and MASH legacy are still alive. And so is the quiet, powerful life he lived behind the spotlight. William Christopher. William Christopher gave MASH its soul. As Father Francis Mulcahy, he was soft-spoken, thoughtful, and calm, the steady hand in a camp full of chaos. But his real life had its own trials. In 1968, his son Ned was diagnosed with autism. Back then, few people understood what autism even meant. Resources were scarce. Support was minimal. But when MASH began in 1972, it gave him something bigger than fame. It gave him the money and stability to support his family. He kept acting after MASH, continuing as Father Mulcahy in After MASH until 1985. But it was off-screen where he made his biggest mark. In 1988, he and his wife Barbara wrote Mixed Blessings, a book about raising Ned. It was raw, honest, and way ahead of its time. He also worked closely with the National Autistic Society. He made videos, spoke at events. His advice to parents was simple but powerful. Don't give up. Be strong for your child. Be their advocate. He wasn't just a kind man. He was a curious one. He loved astronomy and often talked about life on Jupiter's moon, Europa. Even more surprising, he read Homer's Iliad in the original Greek. He brought the book to the MASH set. Some laughed. Others were just impressed. That wasn't an act. He had studied Greek literature at Wesleyan University. He was the real deal. His death came on December 31st, 2016, exactly 1 year after his co-star Wayne Rogers passed away. He had fought lung cancer for a year and a half, but stayed active almost until the end. He was 84 when he passed, in his Pasadena home. His co-stars remembered him with deep affection. Loretta Swit called him a humanitarian. She said everyone loved him. One episode captured him best. In Dear Sis, the camp sings Dona Nobis Pacem to him, a Catholic hymn, a moment of peace. You could see it in his eyes. He wasn't acting. That was William Christopher, through and through. Gary Berghoff. When Gary Berghoff walked away from MASH in 1979, it shocked fans. He wasn't just leaving a hit show. He was trying to save his personal life. After 7 long seasons as Radar O'Reilly, he had hit a breaking point. At the same time, he was filming emotional goodbye scenes on screen. His marriage to Janet Gale was collapsing. He cried real tears during those scenes. The divorce was finalized that same year. Now a single father to his daughter Gina Gale, Berghoff tried to start over. Looking back in a 2025 interview at age 81, he admitted that Radar had swallowed up his real identity. For years, people only saw him as Radar. He even joked that no new friend ever called him Gary. That loss of self left him drained. He later realized he had been going through severe burnout. He could name every symptom. He even recommended a book about it, Dr. Herbert Freudenberger's Guide to Burnout. Pretending to be cheerful as Radar while he was struggling inside wore him down. He also felt like an outsider on set. While other cast members bonded, he mostly kept to himself. 15 years after leaving the show, in 1994, Berghoff said something shocking. If he had known how deeply the role would change him, he probably wouldn't have taken it. Even though he loved MASH, the price had been high. After MASH, he didn't vanish, but he stepped away from the spotlight. He returned to acting only occasionally. You could catch him on Match Game or Hollywood Squares, and he briefly appeared in After MASH. But his heart wasn't in it. He had discovered other passions. In 1985, he married again, this time to Elizabeth Bostrom. They had 2 sons, Miles and Jordan. For a while, it looked like he had found the stability he needed. But that marriage also ended. They separated in the 1990s and divorced in 2005 after 20 years together. Through it all, Berghoff remained devoted to his kids. He even moved to be near his ex-wife so he could co-parent more easily. He believed one thing strongly: divorce is between adults, not between a parent and a child. But Berghoff's biggest surprise came from a place few expected. Back in high school, in 1961, he had won the Hallmark Award for a painting called Men of Jazz. That passion never left him. In the 1990s, he began painting wildlife professionally. His art caught on fast. One series, Eye to Eye, was especially popular. He said he focused on the eyes because that's where the animal's soul lived. Larry Lynville. Larry Lynville, who played Major Frank Burns, left the show in 1977. He didn't hate the role, he just felt he had done all he could with it. Frank had become a cartoon, and the show was changing. After leaving, Lynville kept working in Hollywood. He acted in movies like School Spirit and Earth Girls Are Easy, and popped up in TV shows here and there. But he never found another role like Burns. Lynville returned to his first love, theater. He had studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. On stage, he tackled bold roles, even dressing in Victorian clothes to play Lady Bracknell in The Importance of Being Earnest. He had 5 marriages in his life. His only child, Kelly, was born in 1970. In 1998, he was diagnosed with a malignant tumor. Part of his lung had to be removed. He passed away in April 2000 at age 60. His ashes were scattered in the ocean near Bodega Bay. Mlan Stevenson. Mlan Stevenson, who played Colonel Henry Blake, left MASH in 1975. That exit shocked America. His character's plane was shot down after he left the camp, a move never before seen in a comedy. Viewers were furious. CBS even cut that scene from reruns. But Stevenson had left for a bigger opportunity. He wanted to headline his own show, and NBC offered him that. It didn't go well. The Mlan Stevenson show was canceled after 1 season. In the beginning, also failed. Hello, Larry lasted 2 seasons but became a joke on late-night TV. Stevenson later said he had misunderstood fame. People loved Henry Blake, not Mlan Stevenson. He never regained the success he had on MASH. He kept working, appearing on game shows and in guest spots. In 1996, he had bladder surgery. He died of a heart attack shortly after at age 66. Wayne Rogers. Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, left after season 3. He was different from the others. He never even signed his MASH contract. He objected to a vague morality clause and used that loophole to walk away. His reason? He felt sidelined. Hawkeye had become the clear lead. He turned down a chance to star in the spin-off Trapper John, MD, to avoid typecasting. Ironically, he then played a doctor in House Calls, which was a success and got him a Golden Globe nomination. Rogers appeared in a few more movies and TV shows, but acting became his side job. He had a brain for business. Rogers built a financial empire. He ran an investment firm, helped create a chain of convenience stores, and co-owned the famous Kleinfeld bridal store. He advised stars like Peter Falk and James Caan and appeared on Fox Business as a finance expert. By the end of his life, Rogers was as respected in boardrooms as he had been on screen. He died on December 31, 2015, from pneumonia complications. He was 82. His life showed that success can come twice in very different forms.